Fasten your seatbelts, because what unfolded inside that courtroom did not just shake the table, it flipped the entire building. Wendy Williams has officially detonated a legal bomb straight into the life of her ex's longtime mistress, Sharina Hudson, and the shockwaves are echoing across the internet. Wendy is not merely asking for justice, she is demanding that every single dollar of those multi-million-dollar alimony payments be dragged back into her hands. And the wildest part? The judge is nodding along. Social media is exploding, saying things like, "Sharina better start packing lunches, the luxury era is over." It feels less like a lawsuit and more like a historical correction, one that Sharina never saw coming. But to understand this chaotic storm, we need to rewind the tape. Picture 2019, Wendy Williams, the unapologetic queen of daytime shock, discovers that her husband of over 2 decades, Kevin Hunter, has been maintaining a secret life with another woman, a woman he allegedly kept hidden for nearly 15 years. And when the scandal finally erupted, Wendy is ordered to pay Kevin a staggering $250,000 every single month. That is not alimony, that is a kingdom. But even then, whispers swirled through Hollywood that the money did not stay with Kevin for long. Allegedly, he funneled the fortune like an underground pipeline straight to Sharina Hudson, the same woman who reportedly gave birth to his child while Wendy was still wearing her wedding ring. Betrayal does not even begin to describe it. Now here comes the twist sharp enough to cut glass. Wendy's legal team has returned to court with evidence suggesting that the entire alimony structure was flawed from the beginning, practically built on sand. And the judge agrees. Suddenly, Wendy has the legal green light to demand every penny back. Every perfume-scented dollar. Every luxury bag. Every designer shoe. Social media users are joking, Sharina went from soft life to survival mode in a single ruling. But beneath the jokes is a far darker truth. Because Sharina Hudson, once living in high-rise condos and wrapped in designer labels purchased from Wendy's hard-earned empire, is reportedly staring directly into financial ruin. Sources close to her claim the money is long gone, evaporated into luxury homes, vacations, private schooling, and a lifestyle built on someone else's sweat. And now? With Wendy's demand for repayment hanging over her like a guillotine, Sharina is allegedly scrambling, terrified, and unprepared for the magnitude of what is coming. The glamorous life she once flaunted might collapse faster than anyone expected. This is not just a court case. This is a reckoning 20 years in the making, a collision of betrayal, revenge, accountability, and a legal system finally saying, enough. And trust me, the fallout is only just beginning. The courtroom temperature has dropped to ice, and the system is no longer playing gentle with anyone involved. Documents paint a brutal picture. Sharina Hudson is allegedly staring at bank accounts that are emptier than abandoned vaults, her assets stripped, and her future shrinking into a dark tunnel. Meanwhile, Kevin Hunter has practically vanished into thin air. Insiders are whispering that he has left Sharina completely on her own, desperately crawling back toward Wendy as if he suddenly remembered where the real lifeline once came from. The internet is roasting him, with comments like, "He abandoned the ship the moment the yacht turned into a canoe." But the real question is burning, why now? What does Kevin know that the public has not heard yet? Because this legal explosion did not appear from the clouds. This is the product of years of Wendy Williams fighting battles that most people never saw. And it was not only Kevin she fought. It was a system she claimed suffocated her. Last year, she was declared cognitively impaired and placed under a deeply controversial guardianship she insisted she never needed. Wendy called the arrangement a luxury prison, a scheme designed to cage her finances and silence her power. She even suggested her own family had a hand in keeping her locked away. But now, her mental capacity is back under the microscope, and with a judge finally listening instead of dismissing her, Wendy is striking with precision. And this is not simply about reclaiming money. It is about reclaiming control. Let us break down the numbers, because they are enough to make anyone gasp. Wendy spent years paying Kevin an eye-watering $250,000 every month. That is $3 million every year. All while Sharina, according to multiple sources, lived like royalty off the back of Wendy's empire. But when Wendy's health spiraled and her legal wars piled up, those payments stopped instantly in February 2022. Kevin, suddenly drowning without the financial lifeline, filed lawsuits claiming he could not pay basic bills. The judge did not believe a word. Court filings revealed that Kevin was sinking, late mortgage payments, defaulted car notes, credit card debts piling into mountains. UBS Bank sued him for over $20,000 in unpaid charges, and that was barely the beginning. His Florida home, once shared with Sharina, is now sitting on the market for $1.2 million. Insiders say it is a frantic fire sale, a last-ditch attempt to settle his spiraling legal fees before everything collapses. But here is where the story takes a cinematic turn. While Kevin put on the performance of a lifetime as the financially devastated victim, Wendy's legal team went digging deep. And what they unearthed could flip the entire narrative upside down. Investigators say Kevin did not only divert Wendy's money to Sharina, he allegedly built a complete double life with her. Luxury cars, high-end properties, businesses forged on Wendy's dime. One car, a rare 2005 Ford GT valued at $140,000, was allegedly sold off to a company that loans against high-value items. Another lawsuit reveals thousands owed to his homeowners association. The pattern is glaring. Kevin lived larger than life until the moment Wendy stopped paying, and instantly, his empire collapsed like wet sand. Now the plot is twisting again. Sources say Kevin has been reaching out to Wendy repeatedly, practically begging for forgiveness. Some even claim he has offered to testify against Sharina just to save himself. But Wendy is not interested in a reunion arc. Wendy is interested in justice, and justice requires every secret dragged into the sunlight. Legal experts say that if Wendy's team proves Kevin and Sharina conspired together to drain her fortune, Sharina could owe the full amount, millions she allegedly no longer has. Kevin's sudden desire to switch sides is raising eyebrows. Is he finally remorseful? Or is he scrambling to cut a deal before Wendy's legal team detonates the real bombshells? The timing screams desperation. And then, like a phoenix with carefully applied contour and couture, Wendy made her grand return to New York Fashion Week just last month. Front row at Laquan Smith, cameras flashing, her signature energy radiating as if she had never left the throne. This was not the fragile woman the world saw hospitalized years ago. This was Wendy reborn, fierce, steady, intentional. This lawsuit, then, is not just about recovery. It is about reclamation. It is about writing her own story again. The same system that once declared she could not manage her life is now validating her claims. This judge's ruling is not merely a win. It is vindication at its highest form. But the broader battlefield is far messier. Wendy's guardianship saga has been a tabloid nightmare, filled with allegations of exploitation, family betrayals, and a legal structure that many believe failed her at every turn. Her niece, Alex Finney, has publicly condemned the broken system. Wendy herself has described her court-ordered living arrangements as a depressing facility surrounded by elderly residents, a place she never asked for and never accepted. Yet even through all of this, Wendy stayed strategic, focused, sharp, refusing to be erased. And now, with this lawsuit, she is flipping the script entirely. If she proves Kevin and Sharina conspired to siphon her wealth, this becomes more than a courtroom victory. It becomes a full-circle moment for a woman whose entire career was built on exposing deceit. There is one more twist we cannot ignore. Sharina Hudson, the once untouchable, mysterious figure behind the scandal, has suddenly become the weakest link. Sources claim she is spiraling, reaching out to old acquaintances, even considering releasing a tell-all to rescue herself. But here is the trap: if she talks, she exposes Kevin. If she stays silent, she loses everything. Either way, Wendy wins. And if history has taught us anything about Wendy Williams, it is this: she never wins quietly. She wins loudly. She wins boldly. And she makes sure the entire world watches as the tables turn one by one. So now the spotlight returns to Kevin Hunter, the man who once controlled Wendy's career, her finances, and her life. Today, he is the one scrambling, desperate, and out of moves. Kevin Hunter's legal troubles are stacking against him faster than he can breathe, and every sunrise seems to expose a fresh fracture in the empire he strutted through with such unshakable arrogance. His assets, once symbols of untouchable wealth and swagger, are evaporating like smoke caught in a storm. And Sharina? She is not simply upset, she is reportedly burning with fury, the kind of fury that comes from realizing the man she tied her future to has abandoned her the second the glamorous facade disintegrated. She feels used, betrayed, blindsided by the same man she believed she had won over. Insiders claim she has been pacing through her emptying home, asking out loud, "How could he leave me?" Like this, while Kevin is allegedly slinking into low-profile meetings with lawyers, hiding behind tinted car windows and hooded sweatshirts as if the shadows offer protection from consequences. Every movement he makes is wrapped in secrecy, but here is the terrifying part: nobody knows what his next move is, not even the people closest to him. And that uncertainty is electrifying everyone watching. Will he throw Sharina under the bus to save himself, rewrite the narrative to cast her as the mastermind behind everything? Or will he attempt a desperate alliance with Wendy, offering up whatever poisonous secrets he kept buried for decades in a last attempt to survive? Because one thing is painfully obvious now: Kevin Hunter's golden boy era is dead. The carefree, double-life fantasy he constructed with designer tape and Wendy's money is collapsing into rubble. The question is not if he will fall. The question is who he intends to drag down with him when he does. Sharina? Wendy? Or both? But here is the twist the tabloids are salivating over, while the headlines are screaming about alimony and bankruptcy. That is not the real story. The real story is what this lawsuit might finally expose about Kevin's shadowy influence behind Wendy's downfall. People have short memories, they forget this man was not simply an unfaithful husband. He was the gatekeeper to Wendy's entire world. He allegedly controlled the finances. He allegedly influenced the show. He allegedly helped shape the public image of a woman who built her career on exposing lies, all while keeping his own hidden behind closed doors. And now that Wendy's guardianship, the one that once stripped her of her voice, is under scrutiny, the whispers are getting louder. Some insiders quietly suggest Kevin's influence may have run deeper than anyone realized. Deeper than marriage. Deeper than management. Deep enough to make people wonder if he played a role in the destruction of Wendy's stability long before the public ever saw the cracks. So if Kevin is suddenly apologizing now, stumbling over words that sound like regret, you have to ask yourself, what is he terrified of? What truth is he afraid might surface if Wendy finally speaks for herself without anyone controlling the narrative? Because this court battle is no longer simmering, it is igniting into a wildfire. Wendy's team has hinted, ever so subtly, that they have evidence explosive enough to rewrite the entire story of her career, her collapse, and her stunning return. And if there is one thing the world knows about Wendy Williams, it is that she does not hold back when she has the receipts. This is the woman who exposed legends on live radio, who built an empire on fearless truth even when the truth was uncomfortable. If she has proof, not rumors, not whispers, but proof, she will not tuck it away in some sealed courtroom record. She will make sure every detail sees the light of day. And as this legal war builds into something volcanic, the question now haunting everyone is, why now? Why choose this moment, after years of silence, after a near-fatal health collapse, after a guardianship that stripped her identity, after a career and life that looked shattered? Why strike now, when so many assumed she would never rise again? Is this about the missing millions? Or is it about something deeper? Something emotional? A final confrontation with a man who betrayed her at the exact moment she needed protection? A rejection of a system that silenced her, infantilized her, stripped away her autonomy? Or maybe, just maybe, this is about Sharina. The woman who believed she had replaced Wendy, only to learn she had stepped into a blast zone she did not understand. Because something is shifting. You can feel the plates moving beneath the surface. Insiders say Wendy has regained more clarity recently than people think. Not perfect clarity, not a miraculous return, but enough awareness to recognize betrayal in hindsight. Enough awareness to ask questions she never could before. Enough awareness to feel the full emotional weight of everything that was taken from her. And if that is true, this lawsuit is not mere litigation. It is an awakening. A woman clawing back the narrative that was stolen from her piece by piece until she nearly disappeared. Meanwhile, Kevin is unraveling. The facade of confidence is crumbling into shards. People who once praised him are backing away fast, crafting new stories where they never really liked him anyway. The lifestyle he built, the homes, the cars, the side ventures, the gifts, is collapsing at warp speed. Insiders claim some of the assets he once flaunted are not even legally his anymore, quietly transferred in a desperate attempt to shield them from seizure. And Sharina? She is reportedly spiraling. She believed Kevin would fight. She believed he would protect her in the way she thinks he failed to protect Wendy. But now she is realizing she may have strapped her entire future to a sinking ship. That realization is causing friction behind the scenes, sharp, bitter, alliance-breaking friction. Because what happens when a man who built his life on secrets suddenly needs those secrets to disappear? What happens when the mistress who believed she was the chosen one realizes she was never chosen, she was merely convenient? And what happens when the woman the world counted out, the woman who lost her marriage, her show, her health, her independence, begins to rise again with truth as her weapon? The answer is coming. And when it hits, it will not be quiet. That is the storm Kevin Hunter is walking into, and he knows it down to his bones. People close to the situation say he is terrified of what discovery might reveal, not just afraid of losing money, but afraid of losing the last shreds of power and reputation he has clung to like a lifeline. Because once Wendy's evidence hits daylight, once every sealed document, every quiet filing, every hidden transaction becomes public record, there may be no coming back for him. This is no longer a conversation about infidelity or scandalous affairs. This is about alleged manipulation, psychological control, and a series of long-term decisions that may have shaped, or destroyed, one of the biggest television careers of the decade. This battle is no longer just about alimony. It is about legacy. It is about accountability. It is about the chapters of the story that were never allowed to be told. And the irony cuts like a razor. Kevin has spent years denying that he played any role in Wendy's downfall. But now, with documents surfacing and legal filings taking shape, he may accidentally become the missing link that explains everything, whether he wants to or not. Meanwhile, Wendy's supporters, the fans who watched her rise, who watched her break barriers, who watched her build an empire with nothing but her voice and an unshakable work ethic, are rallying again. They are connecting the dots that were once scattered across tabloid pages and hidden behind shame and silence. They are realizing that the woman they admired did not collapse on her own. There were hands pushing in the shadows. And for the first time, those hands may finally be dragged into the light. But here is the twist that has everyone's heart racing. Sharina reportedly feels betrayed, blindsided, shaken to her core by the speed with which Kevin seems ready to distance himself now that the flames are licking at their doorstep. She never imagined he would fold this quickly. She never imagined Wendy would fight back with this level of force. And she certainly never imagined the public would begin connecting dots she thought had been buried forever. Now, in private moments, insiders say she is questioning everything, every promise he made, every sacrifice she thought she made for love, every dream she built upon foundations that now look suspiciously like sand. What if Kevin cannot save her? What if she becomes collateral damage in a story she never had the strength to survive? What if Wendy, even after everything she endured, has more power left than either of them ever imagined? The possibility is terrifying and thrilling for everyone watching. Because Wendy Williams is not merely a celebrity. She is a cultural force of nature. A woman who reshaped daytime television. A woman who built a career on truth, on fearlessness, on exposing secrets that other media personalities were too afraid to whisper. And if this lawsuit gives her even a fraction of her voice back, the world may finally hear the parts of the story she was never permitted to tell. And Kevin knows that. That is why he is hiding behind closed doors. That is why he is whispering apologies. That is why he is allegedly weighing the option of throwing Sharina under the bus. Because once this goes public, once evidence becomes part of the official record, he will not be able to hide. His choices, his actions, his role in the chaos, all of it will be exposed without mercy. And Wendy? She is no longer the fragile figure the media pitted. She is the woman rising. The woman reclaiming her narrative. The woman with the power to expose every dark corridor she walked through. This is not a lawsuit. This is a reckoning. Now that the judge has flipped the script, everything is shifting. Insiders claim Kevin Hunter's abandonment of Sharina is not cold-hearted impulse, it is strategy. A last-ditch attempt to salvage his own skin as Wendy's lawsuit threatens to expose nearly 2 decades of financial maneuvering. For years, Kevin played the role of Wendy's partner, her manager, her source of stability, until the moment he did not. And now, with the legal tide rising against him, his sudden tilt back toward Wendy is not remorse. It is survival. Sources say Kevin's apologies to Wendy are hollow and calculated. They are not confessions. They are attempts to gain leverage. They are life rafts tossed out to avoid drowning. And Sharina? She is the collateral damage. Insiders say Kevin has cut off communication, leaving her to fend for herself financially and legally while he allegedly whispers new promises to Wendy, hoping for mercy.